Everyone. You are welcome to the lecture for today. We have a live section and it's already 1 o'clock. And I would just want us to have the class in an hour's time, in 1 hour, less than 1 hour thereabout. So it's the topic on the theory of demand and supply in relation to the concept of elasticity. So I can see Daniel Essen and Taye in the house. Please, can you signify by just kind of respond to the class? Yes, Daniel Essen, you can mute yourself, respond to the class.
Hello, sir.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay, what about Benson Eniola? Benson Eniola, you can unmute yourself and respond.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay, what about Taye? Taye, you can respond. I think you are having network issue. I can see your network is not stable. Taye is also in the house. So for now, I can't see the governor, Emmanuel, and I can't see the others. But I have a class that is supposed to hold even by this time. It's supposed to hold around this time a physical class in the school. But I would quickly take the online class so that we can move on. So let me try to share my slide so that we can move on from there. Let me try to share my slides. Okay. That should be elasticity. Okay. Okay, so fine. We want to look at the concept of elasticity of demand. Elasticity of demand and supply. GNS 222 Economics for Quantity Surveying Students. My name is there. So let's move on to the second slide. So the background to elasticity. Yes, thank you. For those who are just joining our feeds and so on, please mute yourself upon joining. You know the rules. So after my lecture, then you can listen quietly and make 1 or 2 contributions. So the background to elasticity, okay? Now, the prices of construction materials as quantity surveyors, you know that those prices are changing frequently. And these prices affect the cost of the project and the level of risk aversion. What that means is that some people cannot take risk by saying that, oh, they will capitalize on the price. Once the price goes up, they will want to wait till when the price will come down. But in the reality, there are prices, many prices of commodities are going up, but probably not even reducing at all. So elasticity, therefore, measures responsiveness of consumers and producers to change in price and other factors that affect the quantity demanded and supplied of certain commodities. So if you are talking about elasticity of demand and supply, you are looking at what is the rate of change. When you talk about rate of change, you are talking about the rate at which consumers react to the changes in price. Don't forget that last class, we said that one of the law of demand is that the higher the price, the lower the quantity demanded. And that is because every consumer wants to maximize their satisfaction. And they can only maximize their satisfaction at the reduced price. When the price is reduced, then consumers are willing to buy more of a normal good so that they can have what is called utility maximization. But when that reaction or the rate at which they react to that change in price, the rate at which they react is what we now call elasticity. And the same thing ditto goes to the producers. The producers want to supply at a higher price so as to make more profit. So the rate at which they react to changes in price, maybe the price goes up, oh, they want to supply more to make more profit. The rate at which they react is what is called elasticity of supply. So we have more than two types of elasticity, but majorly two. We have elasticity of demand and elasticity of supply. So when consumers are the one that are reacting to changes in price or changes in income or changes in taste, those are the three factors that majorly affect elasticity of demand. So when consumers are reacting based on that change, you call it elasticity of demand. But when producers are the one reacting based on the change in price, price is the only major factor that affects elasticity of supply. You call that elasticity of supply. So this elasticity focuses on sensitivity, not absolute change. What does that mean? That means that the elasticity of demand looks at how sensitive, how price sensitive are the consumers and the producers, not really the level of difference. Let's say, for instance, if you say the price of cement is maybe 10,000 and all of a sudden it became 11,000. So what we are now saying is that you may not necessarily need to look at 1,000 as to say that is the absolute change, because that's the change in price. But the one we are looking at majorly is when the consumers are now reacting either in little way or in a greater measure. That is the one that we really measure, and we either measure it in either elastic or inelastic or perfectly elastic or perfectly inelastic or unitary elastic. We're going to get there, but let's move on to the third slide. So the types of elasticity. The types of elasticity. Now, majorly, like I said, we have two. So the first two are the major types of elasticity. You have price elasticity of demand and you have price elasticity of supply. Now, under the demand, there are other factors that affect demand. Like I gave you in the quiz last week, I said, what are the factors affecting demand of a typical product? Apart from price, the income of a consumer will also affect the demand, the quantity demanded. The income of a consumer will also affect the quantity demanded. Likewise, when there is change in the price of related commodities, when a commodity has close substitutes, maybe you take Dangote cement and Lafarge. If you take Dangote cement and Lafarge, you know that both of them are both cement and they are close substitutes. So the price of Dangote cement affects Lafarge cement or Elephant cement. The same thing, the price of Elephant cement can also affect Dangote cement because they are close substitutes. So if that happens, you have what we call the cross elasticity of demand. Okay, so let's move on. So now the types of price elasticity of demand, types of price elasticity of demand. majorly we have 5 types. There are 5 types of price elasticity of demand. 1, we have perfectly elastic demand. Perfectly elastic demand. And that is a demand that you have the answer or the degree of responsiveness to be infinite. For instance, now when you calculate price elasticity of demand and you get 0.00000001, that kind of answer will give you perfectly elastic demand. That shows that the consumers are not price sensitive. They are not price sensitive. So the price is just little or no change in price. That means there's little or no change in price. And with that, the consumers are not sensitive to that. Then 2 is perfectly inelastic demand. And that is where you calculate your elasticity. You can see it. Look at the cursor. Look at where I'm putting the cursor. When you calculate and you get 0, you can see me highlighting it. If you calculate and you get 0, that is perfectly inelastic demand. And that is when you have little or no change in the quantity demanded of a product. The first one, I said when there is little or no change in the price of a commodity. But the second one, perfectly inelastic, is when there is little or no change in the quantity demanded of the product. The third one is elastic demand. Now, elastic demand is when you have when you have greater change in responsiveness. That means when there is a little change in price, let's assume the change in price is just about 5% or 1% change in price, and the quantity demanded of that commodity greatly reduced. Let's assume that the price increased by 1% or 2%, maybe from 50 or 500 naira to 550 naira. Now, if there is a little change in price like that, and the quantity demanded now happen to, reduce greatly, maybe formerly at 500 naira, you are selling about 2,000 units of that commodity. And because of the 50 naira difference, people decide not to buy more. And they reduce it from 2,000 to like 500 units of that commodity. So if you look at the difference between 2,000 and 500, that's about 1,500 naira difference in the unit. Meanwhile, the price only increased from 500 to 550. So when you calculate that kind of percentage change, you discover that it is elastic. And that is when, look at where I put the cursor, and that is when you calculate your elasticity of demand and you get greater than 1. Then the fourth one is unitary elastic demand. Unitary elastic demand, is inelastic demand. Inelastic demand is when you the consumers are just reacting a little to changes in price. Let's assume the price of a commodity remains at maybe 500 naira. Changes from 500 naira to 550. That's about 50 naira difference. And consumers' quantity did not change as such. Maybe instead of it changing from 2,000, it just changed to 1,998 units. So from 2,000 to 1,998 units, you just discover that it's just about 2 units compared to the price that changed about 5 naira. So in such, you have inelastic demand. Then the last one is unitary elastic demand. And that is when there is equal change in the percentage change in price and percentage change in quantity. Equal change. And that gives you an elasticity of demand that is equal to 1. I also like to emphasize that elasticity of demand is such that trying to look for greater than, okay, ED, yes, less than 1. Now, if I put this kind of thing on the board in summary, so what this means is that elasticity of demand is between 0 and 1. That means you do not necessarily calculate elasticity of demand and get a bogus answer and get something like 5 point something or 2 point something. No, it's either you get 0 point something minus 0 point something minus 1, or you get 1. And if at most you want to get elasticity of demand greater than 1, then you might have 1.7, 1.8, 1.9, but you can't exceed 1. You can't exceed 1 by most of the calculations that you can do, okay? When you look at the next slide now, you see that we refer back to the demand curve that we did earlier, some few days ago. We referred back to the demand curve. You can see that the demand curve here is downward sloping. You can see that it's downward sloping. So as the price is going up from 1 naira to 1.5 to 2.0, 2.5, 3.5, and so on, you discover that the quantity demanded is falling. It's falling gradually. You have 1.0, 1.5, 2.0, 2.5. So it's gradually, the quantity demanded is reducing. Sorry, it's reducing from the higher the price, it's reducing from 5 naira to 45 to 4.5 to 4.0 and so on. So look at this place that I'm putting my cursor. Take note of this. Let me try and, I'm trying to see whether I can increase that. Okay. Let's try and increase that. 24. So with this now, you can see this one properly. So what that formula is saying is that price elasticity of demand is equal to percentage change in quantity demanded over percentage change in price. That is percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. So that's, you can imagine and you can work with. Okay, so let's move on from there, and we're going to do a small illustration. Israel, Please watch out for what you are doing. You are affecting my slides. Numeric illustration. Let's assume that the price of a commodity increased from 9,500, let's say cement now, to 10,500. And the quantity demanded falls from 1,000 units to 800 bags, or 1,000 bags to 800 bags. So calculate the price elasticity of demand. So I will call Israel and then others to tell me what to do. If I give you this very simple, less than 2 minutes calculation. So you come back to this formula. There's a formula here that I've put here, percentage. Look at this formula here. Percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. So if you want to apply it here, let's go back there. Where is it now? Okay. So if you want to apply it here, let's try and solve this now. Please stop playing with the screen. It's affecting what I'm doing here. Solution. So watch out. So if I want to do the solution right on the live section, so price elasticity of demand, we say is equal to okay. So our percentage change in quantity, what will it be? It will be 1,000 minus 800, because our old price is, our new price is 800, and our old price is, sorry, should be 800. 800 minus 1,000. So because the said quantity falls from 1,000 to 800, the meaning is that the percentage change will now be either you say 1,000 minus 800 or you say 800 minus 1,000, but you divide it now by the old price. The old price divided by, what's the old price now? Oh, sorry. What's the old price? If you look at the board, you will see that the old price is 1,000. So divided by 1,000, then you also divide everything divided by, now let's do the percentage change in Ctrl Z. Sorry. I should have used the mathematical connotation, but let's leave it this way. Now, if I want to do the percentage change in price now, so what is our new price? Our new price is 10,500. 10,500 minus 9,500. That's, which is the old price. You now divide it by the old price divided by, what is the old price? The old price is now what? The old price is 9,500. 9,500. So I need someone to give me the final answer. So the final answer will be what? P, price elasticity of demand. So divide it and let me have the final answer. Anyone who has gotten it should give me the final answer. Unmute yourself and mention it. So the first one, you will do 800 minus 1,000. and that will give you minus 200 divided by 1,000. Do that one as the numerator. Then the denominator now, you now say 10,500 minus 9,500, which is 1,000 divided by 9,500. Do that one, and let's have that as denominator. Now divide the numerator by the denominator, and let me have the final answer. So Israel, hello, unmute yourself and tell me the final answer. So let any of you tell me the final answer. Benson, Eniola, Daniel, let's say.
I'm on it, please.
And so what's your answer, Israel?
Minus 0.2. Hold on, please. I'm still calculating.
It's a cheap answer. It's just 200 divided by 1,000. I can even use my phone here and do it. What's the big deal? 200 divided by 1,000. What did you get?
The first one is
0.2.
Minus 2.2.
Minus 2.2 is wrong. So let's look at it now. 800 divided by 1,000 minus 1,000 will give you what? Talk now. 800
divided by 0.
minus 1,000.
800 minus 1,000.
0.8 divided by 1,000.
Yes. It's not 0.8. 200 divided by 1,000. 200 divided by 1,000.
That's minus 0.2.
0.2, sir.
That's for the numerator.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's put that here now. 0.2. Then, what's now the denominator?
0.1.
0.1.
Please don't forget that this one will have a minus.
Yes, minus 0.2.
That first one is minus 0.2.
Yes. So the second one now, 9,000, 10,500 minus 9,500. That is 1,000. 1,000 divided by
yeah.
9,500. What would that give you?
0.10.
0.1.
Please, I don't want that background noise. So the final answer will be what now?
0.10. 0.52.
What are you saying? 0.2 divided by 0.1. What would that give you? 0.2 divided by 0.
That would be minus
0.5.
2. Minus 2, sir.
That's minus 0.4.
You don't say your money. 0.2 divided by 0.1. What would that give you?
2, sir.
2, sir.
But, sir, there's a minus in front of it.
I know. Leave that minus.
Okay,
I just want us to be on the same page. So
2,
that
sir.
is now minus 2. So if you want to now interpret this, it is less than 1. So you now say it is inelastic demand. That's the answer. So any question? Yes, any question? So you are going to do more of this when you come back for contact session. We're going to do more of this when you come back for contact session. But let's move on. So let's move on because I'm having some call that is interrupting. So I have a physical class to take as well, and they're calling me. So let's move on. Now, what is the interpretation? The interpretation of elasticity. What is it for quantities of yours? Now, the interpretation of having this to be minus 2. What do you think is the interpretation when you say the demand for cement is inelastic in construction field? What is it? Who can tell me what's the interpretation of inelastic demand for cement? Since it is less than 1, that means the rate at which consumers react, even when the price changes, is little, is less than 1, is -2. So what's the interpretation? Yes? Benson, Eniola, what's the interpretation of that? What's the interpretation of that? The interpretation simply means that cement is a necessity. It's on the board, it's on the slide now. Look, you can see it. Look at your slide. Cement is a necessity in construction. That is why even when the price goes up, people cannot but still buy it. Because you cannot construct any structure without cement. So the demand does not reduce significantly even with the price increasing. That's another implication. Then thirdly, cost overruns are likely during inflation. What does that mean? That means when there is inflation, the price of those construction materials like cement is likely to still go up. So it is advisable that as quantity surveyors, when you are quoting for BOQ, you should be able to consider the fact that the elasticity of demand for construction materials mainly are inelastic. You cannot do without those things in order not to have a failed structure. Okay? All right, let's move on to price elasticity of supply. Now, for price elasticity of supply, you see that the supply curve slopes upwards. So if you want to measure the elasticity of supply, it is also the same formula. Percentage change in quantity supplied divided by percentage change in price. So we'll use another formula. So look at it here now. Look at it here. Let me enlarge this as well. Let's enlarge this. So if you enlarge this, you discover that, yeah, okay, 20. Let's make it 24, 28. Okay, let's make it 28. So you can see it here too. Is percentage change. That triangle there is change. So percentage change in quantity supplied over percentage change in price. So we can use the same formula. So it measures how quantity supply respond to price changes. You know, for producers, when the price goes up, they want to supply more to make more profit. But when the price comes down, they don't want to supply more because they will sell at loss. And that's why you see that most times when cement goes, when the price goes up, consumers are willing to beg you to come and buy because the old stock that they have, they will make more money from it. Then supply example, let's use the example of skilled labor now. Now, wage increases by 25%, then the supply of labor increases by 10%. Now, what's the implication of that? The implication is that supply is relatively inelastic. That means those labor, you cannot do without them. So if you need to have the best hands, you must be ready to ensure that you pay them even the minimum wage or the wage increase that probably has been announced by the government. So the last slide, because we have just about less than 5 minutes, because this is a trial version of Zoom. So importance of elasticity to quantity surveying. Number one, it improves cost estimation accuracy. Number two, it supports tender pricing decision. When you are quoting or you are bidding for contracts, you must quote using economic understanding of the prices in the market so that you don't go and get a contract and you'll not be able to execute it. So you must be able to measure the nature of elasticity of those commodities before charging the prices. Then lastly, it helps to manage construction cost risk, just as I've explained earlier. Okay, so let me give you the next 3 minutes to ask any question. You have the floor. If you have any question, you have the floor now. You have the floor. You can ask any question. But I like to say that we will do some other calculations when you come for the physical class. So by then, the masquerade behind the scene, you're going to see me and I'm going to see you. And then we'll do quite some calculations in the topic on demand and supply and elasticity and market equilibrium. Okay. So is there any question before we close? Any question? Israel, Benson, I saw somebody else.
Sir, my question, are there any other importance of elasticity to quantity surveying apart from the 3 you gave us?
Of course, knowledge is not limited. You have.
Yes, sir.
And you
Yes,
can
sir.
just take your what's it called, your AI ChatGPT and get some other more important. So of course.
Okay, sir. But sir, there are some other diagrams that I see online that the charts are always like, I'll use the word, will I use the word floating? It is not always straight, it's always going upward, downward. So what will you call that kind of
Yes, you know,
chart?
I told you that there are 5 degrees. You have that of inelastic, elastic,
Okay.
unitary elastic, you have perfectly elastic, you have perfectly inelastic. I have a material, a textbook, which I have written about 4 of them, which you can avail yourself of, and I will draw some of those graphs in the class, okay? So,
Okay, sir.
because this is just a Zoom meeting of just 40 minutes, so I couldn't put all those into factor now, into consideration now. So, but
Okay, sir.
you will have it, is in my textbook, and I will explain better to you, okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. That's my question, sir.
Okay, so in the absence of no other question, so let's take one assignment or quiz. So you are going to now, with the aid of diagram, right? With the aid of diagrams, illustrate the different types of elasticities of demand and supply. I repeat, with the aid of diagrams, illustrate with example the different types of elasticities of demand and supply. Lastly, with the aid of diagrams, illustrate with examples the different types of elasticities of demand and supply. All right, so thank you very much. Let me stop the sharing now. Okay, and let's stop the sharing. Thank you. So I will be ending the class now. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.